Hey, what's up guys? This is MJ100K, and today I want to answer the question, what is the best year Honda Civic you could buy used? The Honda Civic is one of the most reliable cars you can buy, but today I'm going to slice through all the information and let you know which years are actually the best, and I'm also going to let you know which year you should avoid. So getting right to the point, the best years to buy the Honda Civic are between 2006 and 2013. Civics for those years come with two different engines. You got the 1.8 liter and also the 2 liter. The 1.8 liter is the one that I'm going to recommend. The 2 liter is more for people who like to drive around and go fast. So for this video, I'm recommending the Civic just for basic transportation. The 1.8 liter Civic engine gets 140 horsepower. It gets 30 miles per gallon in the city and 40 miles per gallon on the highway. So for this video, I'm going to tell you why these year ranges are the best as compared to the older generation and also the newer generation. Reason number one why I picked this Civic is because one of these Civics out there actually made it to 1 million miles. So to me, that is amazing. That is 10 times what they test these cars to. They only test them to about 100,000 miles on the engine dyno and in real world testing. So to go 10 times above the spec, that is just amazing. Going 1 million miles in a car is equivalent to driving around the earth 40 times. It's also the equivalent of driving to the moon and back, and then going back to the moon and then coming back to earth. So that's my number one reason for liking this car. Number two reason is it has a timing chain instead of a timing belt. If your timing belt breaks inside of your engine, your pistons are going to hit your valves, especially in this one because it's an interference engine, and you are not going to like that repair bill. You're basically going to need a whole new engine if the timing belt breaks. But with this engine, you got the timing chain, so you don't have to worry about that as long as you keep up with your oil changes. My recommendation is every 5,000 miles, full synthetic with the factory filter. In my research, I found that there was also another Honda Civic that made it to 1 million miles. It was a 91, actually a Honda CRX that made it to 1 million miles. But that engine has a timing belt, and let me share with you the most important reason why this Civic is better than that one. The 80s and early 90s Civics, that one in particular, does not have airbags. The Civic that I'm recommending does have airbags. It also comes with, starting at year 2008, tire pressure monitoring system. It also has what's called a fully boxed in front subframe, which is important to help to absorb the impact of a crash. That 91 Civic has none of those things. So I was reading an article about the new Prius that's coming out on Facebook, and there was this guy in the comments section saying, oh, my old Honda CRX gets over 60 miles per gallon and I'm not impressed with this new Prius. Well, look, let me tell you something. Those older cars from the 80s and 90s, they are much lighter than the cars that they make now. I love these old Hondas just as much as anybody else, but listen, they are not safe to drive anymore. That old CRX that guy's talking about weighs 1,800 pounds. It is super light and it is tiny. You do not want to get in an accident in that car. You are going to be destroyed. There's going to be no airbag, no fully boxed in front subframe, no traction control, no ABS. That car is 100% airbagless. And if you get into an accident with that car, you are going to be 100% lifeless. So those old Honda Civics, you just want to leave them in the museum. You do not want to drive around in those anymore. So going towards the end of the 9th generation for these Civics, in 2014 and 2015, they switched to a CVT transmission instead of the traditional automatic gearbox, and that one had a few problems when it first came out, so you might want to avoid those years. And in 2016, Hondas, they switched over to the Earth Dreams engine. One of them had a turbo version and the other one is just regular direct injection. Some of them had some problems with oil dilution. In the 2016 model in particular, that one had a lot of transmission problems and some other problems. So you might want to avoid getting that one too. If you want to get one of the newer ones, skip to 2016 and maybe get 2017 or above. It's not like I don't like direct injection, but I'd like to wait a few more years to see how reliable is it going to be. Are these engines going to be able to make it to 1 million miles? Look, only time's going to tell. Okay, so for the years that I mentioned, these cars are very good, very reliable, but there are a couple known problems that I want you to know about before you buy one. Now look, don't get scared because look, every car has some known problems. I mean, it's just a fact of life in the automotive world. The issue is you want to pick the car with the known problems that are easy to fix and not that expensive. So anyway, some of the known problems with this car in particular are the starter. Now it's still going to last a long time, but it looks like some of them are not lasting as long as I've noticed in most Japanese cars. So for this one in particular, I put a couple videos in the description from YouTube from other creators. One of them is going to show you what happens when this starter has a problem. Like you'll try to start it and then it'll move a little bit and it'll start it, and then maybe on the third time it'll start. One of these videos will show you what that actually looks like. The other one will show you how to actually remove the starter if you want to do that job on your own. It's a little bit cramped, but it is possible to do that without a lift. A couple other little things I noticed about these older Civics. Sometimes the rear view mirror, the mirror part of it, the inside of it starts to flake off a little bit. It looks a little bit weird. So if you see that on one of these used ones, look, you could just easily go to the dealership parts department and buy a whole new rear view mirror and just install it yourself. It's actually pretty easy. And the final thing I noticed about this vehicle is some of these older Honda Civics, the paint is starting to flake off and it looks kind of bad. But look, if you see one of these on a used car dealership's lot and it's just sitting in the corner and people are just sticking their nose up at it like, oh, I don't want that car, the paint's all messed up. Look, after this video, you are going to know that that vehicle is capable of doing extreme high mileage. So you definitely will know that the inside of this vehicle, the powertrain, is extremely strong and reliable, and maybe you could just get it painted, or if the paint's just flaking off the hood, you could just buy a new hood. It's actually pretty easy to install a new hood. You could buy them already pre-painted, or if you find one at the junkyard, that you and one of your buddies could install that hood in probably 30 minutes. I hope that helps you find the best year Honda Civic that you can afford. You could have a car that'll get you reliably from A to B, be more safe than the previous generations. Thanks for tuning in and have a good one.